Here we go now.
Hey everyone. Hello. Let me just see all the comments. Shout out to everyone in the live chat. Shout out to Angie for becoming a member. We appreciate that. Guys, don't forget you can become a member of the channel by heading on over to TheKempire.com/join. Tonight we are bringing back our dating lives. Come on. Yes. Mercury is in full retrograde, maybe because Mercury is going through things. Aries, the eclipse in Aries, it's Aries season. Damn you, Aries, okay? Because I don't know about you, literally, we were all getting our tech and stuff together. All of a sudden, my camera went out. I'm like, what the hell's going on? It's okay, though. It's a Friday night. You all needed a moment, too, because you all are running on CP time as well. Let's be honest. You're running on CP time. I've dropped the call-in link for our Royal Court members and our senior royals. I will be dropping the call-in link for our Team Kempire members as well. Live chat, I will be dropping the call-in link for you guys as well. I will do that after I drop it for our Team Kempire members tonight. So, as you know, if you haven't been here before, we've had life coach Keisha here before, answering some of your questions, talking about dating, relationships, astrology. As you saw from the thumbnail, I wanted to talk about dating stories. I have questions for you. I know you have questions for us. Some of you have updates for us. I'm looking forward to that. Okay. So if you have questions, I am going to put a timer on, not yet. But, you know, if we have a lot of people, I will have to put a timer on so that we can get through it. I'm not going to be here for 5 hours. We've done it before, and I loved every minute of it. Don't get me wrong. I did. But, you know, people go through things. When we have a guest in the house, we can't, you know, be here that long. So our friend Life Coach Keisha, some of you loved our conversation and have reached out for services and things like that. All of our information on Life Coach Keisha will be available in the description. Get your free consultation because some of y'all need it. Okay, let's bring up Life Coach Keisha. Keisha,
Hi. How are you?
Welcome back.
Thank you. Returning champion over here.
First of all, thank you so much for coming back. Look, it's a Friday night. You're married. You could be with your husband chilling, okay? But You're here with us, pitiful single folk, okay?
That's okay. We all need a little love in a different way.
Yes. So tonight I want, to talk about dating. Astrology, of course, we'll mix that in there as well, but not everyone's into that. That's fine. But it is Aries season. Happy belated birthday to you, Keisha.
Thank you. 21 forever.
Oh, always. Okay, yeah. Mariah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was an Aries trait, but yes. Okay, fine. Mariah's always celebrating her anniversary. They were blasting me when I wished her a happy birthday on our YouTube. They're like, it's an anniversary.
Excuse me.
I forgot. Calm down. It's her birthday. She looks damn good for her age.
I have to agree. Forever 21.
It must be an Aries thing. You guys have a youthful glow to you guys.
I agree. I definitely agree. We're young at heart.
I mean, you're supposed to be like the babies of the zodiac or something like that.
So we always look good.
It is what it is.
It is. I love your topic. tonight.
Oh yeah, it's dating stories. First of all, one of the questions that I have for you before we start bringing people up, again, if you're a Royal Court member or Senior Royal, I've already dropped the call-in link. I'm going to drop the call-in link for our Team Kempire members as well. And live chat, keep liking the video. I will be dropping the call-in link for the general audience for those that want to call in, share their dating stories, or ask a question or update us on a previous call. Okay. All right. Dating. When did you start dating?
I don't think I've ever stopped.
Oh.
I would say probably like in the 2nd grade.
Really?
100%. I remember his name, and I won't say it because the internet is wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
2nd grade, you trollop.
That's okay. I
Like a
love
West
it.
Indian mother?
Yeah. Well, she didn't have to know. You had your little boyfriends in class, in school, and you'd share lunch. And oh, okay. Well, that was.
Gay.
I remember him like it was yesterday. Honestly, I know his name. I still know his sister. Absolutely, yes.
I will say this: I didn't have any girlfriends. I wasn't dating. Very Jamaican mother. But I did have a little crush on my kindergarten crush. It's funny because decades later, she's a crossing guard, and I saw her recently. She's like, "Oh," I was like, "Hey," I was like, "How you?" When I liked girls, you were one of the ones I liked.
She's the reason why you don't like him anymore.
Nothing ever happened. I had the longest crush, not the longest. I saw her until 4th grade, but it was in 3rd grade that I had my first crush on a boy.
Oh, I can't wait. I want to see pictures. Send me pictures. Where's the
I
year?
don't know if I have a picture of him. I saw him years later, and it reminded me. I was like, that was the guy that I had. He still looked good too. That was the guy that I had a crush. He's straight.
Oh. You were still figuring things out, though. You were still figuring things out then. So
I don't even know what I was thinking then. I was just like, oh, he's cute.
Oh, maybe
mind you, I also thought the other girl was cute too.
You dress like beautiful people.
I'm a Taurus.
Yeah.
I like beautiful things.
Yes. Good. There's nothing wrong with that. Own it.
Yeah, look, nothing wrong with it.
Yes.
And guys, in the live chat, feel free. I know some of you might have questions in the live chat. Feel free to share your questions in the live chat. And again, way you can show love to the channel is by liking the video. And for more information on life coach Keisha will be available in the description. She just launched her website, so you can go check that out. All of that's available in the description. Shout out to our King's Guards that are in the live chat holding us down. Again, a reminder, when people are sharing their stories, we listen and we don't judge, okay?
Yes.
This is a safe space. If I giggle, I apologize in advance.
Me too.
It's a Friday night. Okay,
right.
We're spending it together.
And we're happy people.
Yeah, come on now. All right. So in regards to dating, so one of the other questions that I had for you, because I was having a conversation with this guy that is in his early 20s, and he was talking about dating. He was very serious, focused very much on his career, being very busy, but he's also talking to someone. I did not ask for permission to share his story, but I'm not telling you, don't know who I'm talking about.
Right. Right.
But it led me to this idea of like, okay, in your 20s, what should you prioritize in regards to, yes, you want to build your career. There are things and goals that you want to build for yourself, but you should also still make time for dating. Like, what are your thoughts on in your 20s? Because you started dating when you were in 2nd grade, so you're a pro.
And I love dating. I love dating. I love it.
Even when you're married.
How long have I been married? You said
no. It's even when you're married, you love.
Oh, dating. I think we're still dating now. He's my Tuesday date. He's my Sunday date. Yeah, we're still dating now. I think dating has like. It's like a heavy word for some people. It's like, oh, I'm dating this person. It's like, it's never an excitement. You know what I mean? Dating could be like as light as shopping. I'm shopping. Do you ever feel like, oh my gosh, I got to go shopping today. And, I don't know if I should prioritize shopping, because I'm so focused on my career. Like we make dating so heavy that we're like, why can't it just be fun, guys? Just like when we go to Marshall's or Saks, I don't know, where you like to shop, where do you enjoy?
I should go from Marshall's to Saks.
Depends, because sometimes you need shoes and sometimes you need like dish towels. You know what I mean? So
I do love a good Marshalls for the little snacks. Marshall snacks are top tier.
I mean, you see, you can't get that at Stacks. You know what I mean? So, so I think, when somebody in their 20s is like, oh, I shouldn't prioritize. Yeah, you should. You 100%. Dating shouldn't be like a sidebar. It shouldn't be like, oh, yeah, and I should date. Like, you date because you want to have fun. You go out shopping because you want to buy yourself something nice. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be so heavy and so committal. Oh, I should fit it in. You don't feel that way about shopping. I should fit it in. No, you're kind of like, oh, I can't wait to go buy some new shoes, even if you don't need them.
I like that perspective, and that's the advice that I gave to that young man. Because when I meet 20-year-olds, I feel like the elder now,
right?
But that's the advice that I gave him. I was like, you are, yes, I think focusing on your career and doing all those things, but don't forget to play,
right?
Because that's the other thing too. It's not just even about dating. Don't forget to have fun.
Right.
You're only 20 for a short period of time. Enjoy that.
Right.
And if that includes dating someone, do that. Make time for that person. I don't know. How do you feel about getting into a serious relationship in your 20s?
I think that really is individual. I think because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not getting into anything serious, and they're like 3 babies in. Do you know what I mean? It really depends. I don't think that we commit that hard when we go to Marshalls or Saks. You know what I mean? I don't think we're like, oh man, I'm not ready for something. I can't commit to it. You don't think about that when you buy new pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
No, you kind of. And I don't want to make it so superficial either. I don't want to say like, oh, you're dating someone, they like a pair of shoes. I don't want to say it that way. But I think the excitement and the joy of doing something for yourself, I think that's how we should feel about dating. I think it's such a heavy word. It's like, well, I can't focus on that right now. Well, you don't put a lot of focus on going to the supermarket. You don't put a lot of focus on all the other fun things you do. Why, when it comes to dating, we're like, well, I don't know if I have time for that. Well, what do you mean? You don't have time to eat? You don't have time to eat with someone?
Do you think do you think that we have a habit, and men and women are different?
Yeah.
Well, our audience largely are women, so I'll focus on women. Do you think women largely, when they start dating, it's very sort of like, oh, could this potentially be the one I get married to, my life partner? Do you think women have that habit of maybe taking it a little too serious, and that's why you're saying maybe don't take it as serious?
I definitely think so, because I think there's a lot of stereotypes and a lot of baggage for women who, like, for me, just saying make it easy, and oh, it's like buying a pair of shoes. Other women are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she said that. You know what I mean? But I definitely think that women can catch a reputation, a title, or feel a certain way if they're very casual about dating. But I want to be clear. Casual dating, casual sex is 2 different things. I'm talking
I was about to say.
It's just, you know what I mean? It's just a meal with someone you like, or you may not like, or you want to get to know. That's it. It's like, it's a new restaurant I want to try. Oh, she called me. Maybe I'll go with them. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Worry about the babies and the husband and the ring later. You don't even know if you like him yet, or her, or whatever. You know what I mean? So again, I think women do have a little baggage with us. It's, programming.
Yeah, because I think the world, family tell you, oh, you need to have babies, you need to do this, you need to do that. My advice for anyone in their 20s, because we do have a very mixed bag in our audience from 20s to 60s. So my advice to people in their 20s, focus on having a good time.
I
agree. And again, like you said, that doesn't necessarily mean casual sex. You don't, unless that's what you want to do.
Right.
Okay.
We don't judge.
No, we don't judge. We don't judge. But make sure you protect yourself.
Absolutely.
Make sure you're going to the doctor, all of that stuff.
And protecting your heart too. Protection is not only a physical thing, it's an emotional thing too.
How do you protect your heart?
How do you protect your heart is going in with no expectations in the beginning. It's just dinner. It's just coffee. It's just a drink. It's like, it's a job interview, and I hate to make it so, superficial. It's like, oh, do I like you enough to go eat my favorite meal with? because I really love pizza. So do I want to get greasy with you, or I don't want to get greasy with you? Like, make it that like light, so you're not caring like, oh, is he going to be like the father of my children? Okay, you don't even know if you like his feet yet, and you're already having babies. You know what I mean? So
Whoa.
But like,
I think a lot of people do have those thoughts. They may not tell the world that, but in their mind, on that first date, they're probably already thinking, well, could this be the one? There's a lot of expectations, and I don't think people realize that's the energy that they're bringing to the table, and that's why you probably don't get that second date.
Right. That's why he doesn't call you back.
Because he already feels the pressure. Like, damn, she's ready to have a family.
He probably felt the pressure before he asked you out, and he's just confirming it over dinner.
Oh.
Do you see what I'm saying?
How long? Because yes, we're talking very much the first date. But how long should you date someone before you have like a serious conversation of like, where is this going?
I think that also really depends on you and the relationship, because again, if you're going into the relationship thinking, I don't know if I'm ready to commit, I just want to see if I like pizza with him versus him kind of thing, I think at that point you can make a decision. Now, if you have a plan and you're like, I gotta have my baby by 32, and I gotta da 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 da, my first advice would be like, burn the list before you go out. Like, just burn that list before you go out, because you got the 32 and you didn't find Mr. Right. That idea, that image of who you think he is doesn't exist. So let's just burn that list to begin with. Do you know what I mean? Because now you and that list is at dinner, and you just checking that list off. Do you know what I mean? And I'm here to tell you that list didn't work, because if it did work, he would already be you'd already be Mrs., Mr., whatever. You know what I mean? So I think it's an individual thing. You will feel like, well, I could have that conversation, or you'll be like, I can't have that conversation with this person because they're way before I am. They're ready and I'm not. So if you kind of sense that person is not in his, or cares a little bit more than you do, don't have that conversation. Did you hear my dog? Sorry.
No. We didn't hear it. In regards to, there was a question I had. Let me see if I can remember it. In regards to, oh my gosh, I completely lost it.
Well, let me finish that. I was going to say,
Go ahead.
I think that as you're dating someone, you kind of, figure out the feelings. Like, you kind of measure, am I in this? Am I not in this? So don't start asking questions you can't answer. Does that make sense? Because some people will ask these questions like, are you going to marry me? Are you going to this? Are you committed? And you're not really that. So that means you're asking questions that you're not ready to answer. So make sure you're asking questions you can answer. So if they turn around and be like, well, are you ready to get married? You're like, well, I don't know yet. Well, then you shouldn't be asking.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. T says she is hitting the nail on the head. I did see a question in here. Soul Bomb Sister says, question, dating as an empty nester. Okay. The kids are leaving the house. I feel like we've found a lot of people in our community where their kids are graduating, they're leaving the house. Now they feel like, okay, this is my time.
Right.
Tips for dating as an empty nester.
Go for it.
Oh.
Go for it. Explore it, because it's probably been a really long time since you've actually gone out and somebody bought you a meal, or you bought somebody a meal. You may have forgotten what your favorite meal is because you've been raising babies and you've been eating their leftovers for 20 years. And you're like, I don't even like pasta. Why do I? It's, you know what I mean? You've been mom, you've been dad for all these years. So you're kind of rediscovering a whole new you. Go have some company doing that. You can still keep your nest empty and go have dinner.
That's a good, I think the biggest message so far for those that are just joining us, I'm with life coach Keisha. We're talking dating history, dating stories. We already have a few people backstage that want to call in and share their thoughts, opinions, probably have questions. Live chat, I will drop the call link for you guys in a few. We've already dropped the call link for our members on the post tab here on YouTube. But shout out to those of you watching on Twitch, Twitter, those of you also watching on the Kempire and Kempire Daily on Facebook. We appreciate it as well. And of course, shout out to those of you watching the replay of this. More information on Life Coach Keisha and a free 30-minute consultation is available in the description. What is one of the biggest mistakes that you think people make on a first date?
The list, the list, the list, the list. Every one of us have an idea of what our ideal person is,
Mm.
who he is, who she is, what they look like, what they smell like.
Oh.
Um, Biggest thing that is usually missing from the list that I've seen in my experience is, how do I feel with this person?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, how do I
Mhm.
feel when I eat pizza with Tom? It's all about, like, I like Tom is good and he has a good job, he's got a good family. That's great. That's all on paper. But how do you feel when you're with Tom? Is that how you want to feel? Does Tom make you feel beautiful? Does Tom make you feel special? Like, I think the list is so practical, and I'm not saying it's, imperfect, but I think what's usually missing from the list is like, how do I want to feel with this person?
Mm.
That's
Okay.
the biggest mistake I think I see when people start dating. It's all about, oh, I like the neighborhood. Oh, he's got kids. All those are wonderful things to have, but they leave out like, I don't know if I really feel comfortable with him or her. I don't
Mm.
really know if I like how they eat. That's
Mm.
important. I
Is
don't
it?
really like how they
That
like,
sounds like a very Virgo trait. I
you know
don't
what
like
I
how
mean?
they eat.
But for some people that's really important. I don't like their feet, whatever your thing is. But you got hung up on the list. Like, Tom checks off all these boxes. He's got a good job, he's good to his mother, he's good to his family, da 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 da. But I'm bored.
Mm. Do you suggest people making a list? Because I don't have a written down list of characteristics that I want in a partner.
I'm on a fence with the list. I'm not a big fan of the list at
Mm.
all, but I think for some people it's really important that their partner checks off some boxes. And I think you have when you the beauty of the list is like, is this really important to me? Is this
Mhm.
really important to me? Like, is this going to make or break my relationship with them? And if the answer is yes, then yeah. You know what I mean? I think that the list is a good reference,
Mm.
but can I be married to the list and not marry Tom? Because that's the problem. People are
Mm.
so married to the list, and poor Tom, whoever he is, checks off like four boxes. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I can't marry Tom because that fifth one's missing, but you feel like, Cinderella.
Mm.
That's the problem. So they married the list and not, they married the idea and not the person.
Mm.
So
Wow.
a lot of people who have this great list of like qualities I'm looking for in a person, that's why they never find it, because they're more committed to the list than the person.
Wow. Wow. I mean, look, I think it's important to have these conversations. I didn't realize how many people wanted us to have these conversations here on the channel. So
Right.
we've been having these conversations. It's been really, really interesting to hear people's dating lives
Yeah.
and how they want to share with
Right.
others what they're going through, and they want feedback in a safe space. So that's what we've been doing with these lives. So thank you so much for being a part of that.
Thank
Um,
you.
I did see we had a question from Angel, and then we're going to bring up Wynterr first from our caller. Shout out to our members live chat. I will drop the call in link in just a second. Angel says, spinning the block with an ex. If there's been growth on both ends, recommend or not? Spinning the block with an ex. Well, don't do it now because it's Mercury retrograde. Because that's when you're starting to hear from exes, and
Right.
that I know some people don't believe in any of that stuff, but let me tell you, more times than not, every time there's a Mercury retrograde, I'm telling you, I'm getting one of those big head texts. Hey, big head.
Right. It's
Thank
beautiful head too, by the way.
you.
I would they are an X for a reason.
Mm,
That's They are an X for a reason. And we all tend to remember, or, oh, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't
mm,
that bad. Tom, really used to take me to my favorite pizza parlor, but, but there were other things about Tom that you really didn't like. That's why he ended up being an ex. And familiarity is also, that's comfortable. And the unknown is pretty uncomfortable for people, so it's harder for them to start over, or people get caught like, oh, I don't want to start over. And that's why I
mm.
think part of this conversation we're having too would be really nice to see, like, what people define dating as. You know what I mean?
That's a good
Because
question. Can you answer that?
for me, I love it. I love going out. I love eating. I love it with my friends. I love it with my husband. I love trying a new place. I love a new conversation. I love all those things about it. Other people, like you said, they're going on a date because they're looking for a husband, or they're looking for someone to, like, raise their children. Everybody has
Raise their children.
their reasons for going out on a date. I would like to know from your audience, like, what do they think they're going on a date for? Are they going on a date for fun, or are they going on a date because they think they should be? Or they're like, oh, well, I'm 22 and I'm so focused on my career. Maybe I should be dating more. Like, that's not a good reason to date. You should be going on a date because it's fun. You try new restaurants, you eat good, you try new coffee, you try good dessert. Those.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with going on a date just for some companionship.
Yeah, to a movie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would suggest a movie, because you're sitting there watching something and you're not really interacting.
Well, if you're dating, I wouldn't say your first date.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're dating, because you got to know that too, because you got to know if they cry in the movie, if they laugh at like a sad.
They're talking back at the movie.
Right. You got to learn all these quirks. I wouldn't say your first date, but you got to be like, no, they just chew that popcorn way too loud. Like, you got to know that.
That'd be really uncomfortable. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Good point.
You gotta know. It's like, oh, why are you slurping your soda so loud? Like, really? Because you
got some Virgo in you,
right? But my point is, it's like somebody will settle for the loud slurper because he bought the Coke for them. But really, it's like every time he's drinking that Coke, you want to choke him. You know what I mean? Because
it sounds personal.
You know what I mean? But he checked off the box. He buys me things. He takes me out to dinner. He pays for everything. Do you care if he pays for everything if you can't stand eating with him? No. You see what I mean?
So you have to figure out the pros and the cons. Is he a good person? Can you travel with this person? So someone said that they're looking for a travel companion. That's important for me, because I love to travel.
Right.
So that person has to not necessarily love to travel, but want to do it.
Yeah, open to it.
Because if you don't want to do it, it's already done.
Right. How do they behave in the airport? All of those things. That's what I'm saying. Like, they might have the money to travel. They might like to travel, but ace annoying in the hotel room, can't behave. You know what I mean? So you learn all these things about, like, they're not really good about different cultures. You don't know these things, but that person might check the box of loves to travel. That's the only box they checked, though, was the travel box. But all the other little bullet points underneath travel is like, this annoys me. So it's really important to not be married to the list.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm also thinking to myself, okay, you start dating someone, you like everything about them. I'm sure you probably can see clues about how they would travel based off your interaction. But then when do you take that first? Let's take a quick, I would never suggest like a long trip if this is your first trip with someone. Right. But take a short trip and see how that goes. Go to Puerto Rico.
If they've never been to your house or you've never been to their house, don't go on a trip.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, because you want to know how they live every day. If you've not been to their house more than like a Friday night because the cleaning lady just came on Friday, but you showed up on a Tuesday evening. You just kind of popped up, hey, with flowers or dinner. You're like, oh, I have some Chinese food tonight, and the house is a hot mess. You know what I mean? Like, you've got to go to their house. They got to come to your house before you go away, because that also is like, I'm tripping over your suitcase in the hotel room.
Yeah. What's this laundry? Ew, what's that on your laundry?
Exactly. Go home first, or have them come to your house first, because you'll know if they help you clean up after dinner, or are they watching TV after dinner? Like, what's going on? So do all of that before you actually like book that flight.
Good. Michelle said, "I'll pop up." Popping up. All right. All right. Sweet. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, pop-up is great. Make it romantic. Pop up with dinner, pop up with dessert, pop up with flowers.
Let me tell you something right now. The way that I'm set up, do not pop up at my house.
No, but you're a city person too. But I mean, I don't mean like just roll up. I was in your neighborhood, because that's kind of stalkish. But
yeah,
I mean,
what if I'm entertaining someone? You told me to date. I'm entertaining someone else.
But if they just rolled up and didn't send you a text an hour ago, or you know what I mean? Like, if they just rolled up and didn't say, hey, you think you're available for like dinner tonight? Or how about some coffee? Because if they just rolled up and didn't give you a little heads up, stalkish. Like, let's know. Like, yeah.
Yeah, because again, it's a Friday night. I could be interested. Not that I am. How do you feel about dating multiple people at the same time?
Absolutely.
Oh, of course. Well, what about for people like me? They're like, oh, that's a lot to maintain. And as we get older, it's hard to remember everyone's
You
stories.
think it's a lot to maintain because you think dating is a little bit of work. It's dinner. You got to eat. That's all it is. Or you feel like coffee. Or you're like, "Ooh, I really like this dessert place." So you could
Mm,
go with Tom, you could go with John, you could go with anybody. Who cares? You're just going for a little company to your favorite coffee spot.
mm,
If you didn't think it was dating, if dating didn't have a little bit of like, work for you, you wouldn't care.
mhm,
Do you know what I
mhm.
mean? Because you got to eat every day. And who doesn't like dessert?
That's true.
So
Moonlight says you can learn a lot from people while traveling with them too. They may be spotless at home, but you hate how they travel.
true,
Especially if they're gonna make me lose my good TSA pre-check and clear
true,
and
true.
get me on somebody's list. Portia from Real Housewives of Atlanta talked about how Simon had to have her going in the second line. I was like, that would immediately tell me I'm not marrying you, but she still married him anyway.
No, I've had my husband be in the second line. You know that.
For what? I'm sorry,
Texas.
that's super.
Texas always gets me. Texas always gets me.
Well, no, that's you. That because they were racist.
Right.
I'm not talking about because of racism. We're talking about because this man has a shaky past.
Well, Jake could have thought that, he could have thought, she has a shaky past, but I've definitely had him hemmed up.
Well, and there's that. Well, in Portia's situation, it wasn't just that. That was just one of 10,000
Oh,
signs of
poor
this type
Portia.
of
That's
man.
all I can say.
Not poor Portia.
I
Portia.
definitely think that travel is a big step. That's a very big step because you like to travel, you like to explore places. You invite somebody to go on a trip with you, they might be hearing wedding bells. So be careful.
Yeah, I did travel with an ex once, and we ended up breaking shortly thereafter.
Because you didn't have the ring.
No, it was because I was just like, you're a little annoying.
You see?
Um,
See? See? Yeah. See? Yeah.
Then there's that. All
Yeah.
right. We have quite a few people backstage. If you're just joining us, this is a special dating live with our friend, life coach Keisha. Again, you can book a session with Keisha, free 30-minute consultation with the information available in the description. The other part that I didn't mention is that you get a special discount with the discount code Kempire, 15% off. All right. So all that information will be available in the description. Shout out to those that are watching the replay. Sorry that you missed it, but be sure to share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section and check out the description if you would like to book a session with life coach Keisha. All right. Wynterr is backstage. We're going to bring Wynterr up again. Let me hold on. Let me just change this out for us. Let me go back here. All right. Let me bring Wynterr up. Hold on. Wynterr. Ooh, hold on. Here we go. Wynterr, you're muted. There we
Yes,
go.
I was. Sorry. I was like multitasking. So I don't really know what I'm talking about here, but dating has been a challenge.
Mhm.
I was on the apps. I met someone, and it's funny because he was like, when I we started talking, we met, he was just like, yeah, like I want to get married and all this blah blah blah. And over the days, like I noticed his communication was really, really bad. Like he
Oh,
wasn't like he seemed so interested and we linked up. We actually linked up in person. We had a good time. Like it was great chemistry. We were hanging out for like hours. And then after
okay.
that, like it was like he told me that was his biggest issue in the past, like his communication. He tends to
Mhm.
not answer his phone, blah, blah, blah. And it started becoming an issue. We still haven't saw each other since.
How
And
long?
it's been like 2 months.
Oh,
But when I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna put no effort into this. Like he's playing games. He hit me up and he was like, oh, what's wrong? I'm sorry. And then he basically apologized. Like what like he asked me what was wrong, and I told him, I was like, this communication, like you need to fix this. Like I'm a mom, I'm a single mom.
Mm.
And what is the whole point of you being on Hinge with this whole bio talk about you looking for a wife? If I was like, are you even ready for a wife?
right, right.
And he was like, he is blah blah
What's
blah.
his sign? Sorry.
Right.
Oh my God, he's a Sag.
See, they sad.
Honestly, I don't know. They're kind of my faves.
Really?
But they're
Yeah.
all over the place.
They are. I feel like I feel like he has the career. Like he has one son. He's all, he seems like a good guy, but his biggest thing is the communications.
Mm.
Like, and he's like, oh, I work a lot of hours, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like,
Mm.
what? We all work. What are you talking about?
Oh.
I'm exhausted.
I mean, I don't know him, but he, some people like that runner chaser role, and he likes to be chased. It sounds like to me, because he tells you up front, I'm not really good at this, I'm not really good at that. So he's kind of like hands up. I'm like, I'm already out already. But if you want me, if you're interested in me, you have to pursue me. He already said that from like the get-go. Like, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. Okay, well,
I'm not a chaser. Like
right.
when I'm turned off about something, I'm over it. But I wasn't turned off because I almost cut him off, and then I gave him the chance. I was like, you know what? This is part of dating. He's not my man. Let me let him redeem himself. And after I told him about that, I was like, listen, you need to communicate. You need to because you need to learn how to answer your phone. Like that's the whole point of getting to know each other. We're in the beginning stages.
Yeah.
And
Only gonna get worse.
yeah, like I was like, if you're starting off like this, you're not ready for a wife and a life. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
So I'm not gonna lie, he has been changing, and he's been calling and stuff. I was like, oh, okay.
Since that conversation.
Yeah, I feel the efforts. I was like, I like this. Like, yeah, I like where this is going. A
So
Sag.
give me the timeline though. So there was the 2 months where you didn't hear from him, and then you guys reconnected.
No, we met on Hinge like 2 months ago. So we had been talking for 2 months, and I would say actually we only linked one time though. And I did tell
Oh.
him that too. I was like, I live in New York City. You live in Jersey, and you also work in PA. And I was just like, I don't know how our schedules are gonna align. But what I like about him is that he does have intentions to have a family and have a have serious things. I just don't know if he's ready for it.
Right. Well, and
I don't know.
you're not here to teach him, because so far he may have improved his communication and improved his approach, but that's with you coaching him, and you don't have time for that.
And you haven't seen you only seen him once in 2 months.
Yeah, in 2 months, once. I mean, I was like, and
What part of Jersey does he live?
It's like South Jersey. I'm just like, oh Lord.
South
Yeah,
Jersey.
yeah, but I know the old, people. It's like, oh, you got to teach people how to treat you. Yeah, but you don't have to raise them.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
Right.
I've already had a lot of mistakes. So, I just wanted to know what I should do with this. I should keep trying, right? Like, I like the conversation. Like, I was like, he makes me think about the future. Like, I feel like I like him.
Yeah, but you can think
Kempire,
about
what's
the
with the
future.
face?
Oh, sorry, we listen and we don't
I
judge.
see you.
We all like commitment. We all like, he's talking the talk, but I don't necessarily know if he's walking it. He's telling you all of the things that you want to hear or you like to hear, because most people want to hear that. I'm just saying, you be careful, because you are teaching him things that he should probably already know.
You're right. All right. Thank you. I appreciate the advice.
Wait, I give my piece of advice.
Wow. Tell me, I value your advice. Come on.
Would you say
Dropped him like a bad habit. 2 months and you only seen him once?
That's not good, right?
That's not good. And I get it. He's in South Jersey, and I get it. We're all busy. I'm busy too.
Yeah.
You're busy. You're a mom.
Yeah.
But in 2 months, you haven't. So okay, you let's say you hang out this weekend. I'll see you in 2 months. 2 months from now is June, and you're outside.
Right.
Everybody's outside. All your options are outside.
Right.
You're in Aries.
Yeah, because there was a lot of guys in my face this whole time. I was walking down 125th.
Are you trying to act as if you're single right now?
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're not. You are a single woman.
Yeah, you're right. All right.
So do not close off your options.
Right.
I'm not.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate
Sorry,
the advice.
You're welcome. Take
Bye.
care. Let us know how it goes.
I
Enjoy your
will.
birthday.
It was yesterday. Thank you.
I know, but I wasn't live yesterday.
Oh yes, yes, yes. You remember. Thank you, Cam. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
And it's your birthday weekend. Enjoy your
Right.
birthday weekend.
And we're
All
not
right.
seeing him.
And look, I love Sagittarius too. And I talked to a Sagittarius years ago, and I was like, yeah, this is not going to work for me personally.
Right.
And yes, we are all busy. But one thing I strongly believe in, and people should, if you're dating me, then you should know this. If you are really interested in someone, you're going to move hell and high water to see them.
Agreed. You won't question it. Agreed.
Even with how busy I am, I know I'm here on a Friday night. Trust and believe. Come Saturday, I'm gonna be with him.
Right. I agree.
Or if not, right after this, or this, Keisha, we're gonna do this another week because my boo's free.
Right.
Priorities.
100%. 100%. You don't have to run after anybody. Let them run after you. But
So
he turned around though when she was like, "Oh, you should do this." And see, you're not here to raise him either. You got a baby. You're raising your baby, not him.
Yeah, men.
People.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. All right, Jasaleen is backstage. We're gonna bring Jasaleen up next. Jasaleen, what did you want to have? First of all, hey Jasaleen, how are you?
Hey, Kempire. Hey, Miss Keisha. How are you?
Good,
We're
thank
great.
you.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. I wanted to call with an update.
Yes.
Well, first, I did go to a singles mixer at church.
Okay.
I did well because I intentionally tried to talk to men that I didn't like what that I wasn't like attracted to.
Yes.
Because I was just practicing like having conversation because I get nervous. So that went well, but I did leave when they started playing Sexy Red and Glorilla in the sanctuary. That was just too no. I can't do that. So I did
Wait, but did they play the Drake song with Sexy Red? Because I like that song.
No.
Yeah, sorry. It's
no,
right.
they did. So I left about 20 minutes early, but I did participate. I engaged with others, so I wanted to first start off with that. The Leo person that I have been talking to, he is still around.
Okay.
But
Can you remind the audience of who? Just a quick synopsis of who the Leo we're referring to.
Yes, I've been talking to somebody for several years. I met him on like a dating app. We FaceTimed, we talk on the phone, we text, all the things. We have not met in person. And when I did set up some time to go and visit, he ghosted me. And it was a big thing. Yeah. But I have gotten better in the sense that my feelings really have shifted toward him. And I don't reach out as much. He's still reaching out, but he's been in the hospital, had some medical things. And I think that has allowed just that space between he and I. And so I think I'm in a good place. Like it's not as hot and heavy as it was. And so more so just we know each other, we're acquaintances, virtual acquaintances. And if he ever comes to the level that I am, then maybe, but really I don't feel the way I used to feel. But I think he's got a good qualities, but I don't think he's ready.
Jasaleen, can I say something?
Yeah.
Are you right? Yeah. You need to remove him from your life. He's not adding any sort of value to your life. He's actually a block.
Right. I'm gonna agree 100%.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it.
You haven't even met him yet in person.
No, I haven't. No.
When people show you who they are the first time, believe them.
I can maybe I can give a little suggestion to you, Jasaleen, if this is possible, if you're ready. Maybe ask yourself, why am I allowing this?
Yeah.
Why am I allowing this? Like, what do I want? Because, we can sit here and say he's not doing this and he's not doing that, but you're allowing it for a reason. And, on some levels you might be, oh, I'm ready for a relationship. Maybe we're not really ready for a relationship. You are comfortable with certain aspects of this. So you just have to ask yourself, what about this I'm comfortable with? Why am I allowing this? Why am I repeating this? Because maybe 10% of you are comfortable with it, but 90% of you are like, this doesn't make any sense. What, you know what I mean? So just, give yourself the space to ask yourself, why am I allowing this? Like, what do I want? What do I want? And why am I afraid of having that?
Yeah. I think those are good questions. I go to therapy every week because it's free.
That's right.
And if it's, as long as it's free, we'll talk about something. And he's a topic of conversation. So I've definitely explored that. And I think being an empty nester was huge for me, and wanting companionship. And ideally it would be somebody in person. It just happened to be that I met this person online, and intellectually there was a connection there, and we kind of built off that. But the readiness for sure. And then obviously, to your point, like, what am I getting from this? So yeah, I'm definitely talking about that in therapy. And overall, I think making progress with, increasing my overall awareness and figuring out, again, like, what purpose is it serving me? So
yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you don't need to put any more energy in figuring him out. We already know his lyrics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you a question, Keisha. Would you suggest to her letting him know, like, I can't do this anymore, or just cutting it off?
I mean, Keisha would change her phone number. But I recognize everybody's not Keisha. Do you know what I mean?
I like my good 718 number, though.
Exactly. So you got to think about that. No, because having a conversation, a breakup conversation, you got to think about who's that breakup conversation for. Is it you needing the closure, or you giving them the closure? Because sometimes you just got to cut the snake at the head and you work through it yourself. Or you'd be like, we need to talk about this. Isn't working for me. Well, you probably both know it's not working for you. That's already clear and established. So you got to kind of have to figure out what that closure is. And sometimes the closure is just not answering the phone ever again.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think I'm being really Pisces right now about it, but I appreciate the feedback. I just wanted to give an update. And
but Jasaleen, you didn't meet anyone at the church mixer?
I did. I was intentional about asking someone if he wanted to exchange numbers.
Okay.
And he said yes, we did. But once I took that first step, I don't feel like I should have to reach out to you. Like, I already took the first step to say, should we exchange numbers? He did text me that night to say it was great meeting you, and I responded. So I also feel like it's on you to, reach out to me. I mean, I like to be courted. And I think what got me wrapped up in the Leo guy was we communicated, and he was persistent and consistent. And so that, like, reeled me in, because I wasn't used to having someone of that level of intellect who I engaged with. My ex-husband was completely different from him. So,
and then he ended up ghosting you. How about Keisha? What do you think about texting this man?
I'd text him, but that's Keisha. I'd text him.
Me too.
Because you would too, right? Because you know what? You did it your way with the other one, the Leo for 7 years, to do something completely out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Because who cares when you lay in your bed and you send a text to the man at church? Who cares? Who's judging you? Okay. Because
how's your Friday night going?
Right. The other one will text you, but he's not coming to see you. So.
Oh, okay. Okay, so stay tuned for part 3. Thank you.
Yes. I'd be on that text, right? Get off with me. Send him a text. Hello.
And give us an update.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jasaleen. Have a good night.
Take care.
I really love it that people feel safe enough to call in and share their thoughts, because I know it's not easy. So really thank you to all the callers. And again, for those of you that have questions in the live chat, if I catch it, I will save it, but feel free to post it again if you have questions for myself or life coach Keisha. I'm not the life coach. She's the life coach. Okay. But I got thoughts. Okay.
I know that feeling. So I want to piggyback off of that too, Kemper, because this is what we were talking about that list. You see that list? Her list is like, I like to be courted. Check. Leo did that. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what I mean. We're married to that list sometimes. And here, the man at church is not checking off the courted part yet. But we're not allowing that to happen because, he's not texting. Text him. And then make the judgment call.
Jolie says some men want to be courted. And I think a lot of women nowadays are not about that. They're like, I'm not trying to court a man. How do you feel about that?
I think it's very personal. It's very individual. I see why women want to be courted, but women have a really hard role. Like a modern woman they're strong, they're independent, make their own money, they're raising their babies by themselves. That's a very masculine energy. So when those things that are typically done by the male in the household, and you already brought that to dinner and brought that to the table, they're like, okay, what do I do now? Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of females you'll talk to nowadays are like, I have my kids, I live by myself, I do this, you do all of that. He's also aware of that. So part of the dating for him is trying to figure out, where do I fit in this dynamic? Because she doesn't need me. And I have to check off all of these boxes to be wanted. So a lot of them just sit there like, okay, I like that person, but I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I see this question. This is funny. Lulu says, Kempire, there's someone you might like in New York City, laughing out loud. I've seen him with Cassie Thorpe, a fashion content creators blog, and he's lovely. His name is Christian Choi, New York Fashion. I know Christian.
Small world.
You also saw Christian on Real Housewives of New York City. He was working with the tall blonde woman. I can't remember her name. She was also on Ultimate Girls Trip recently. I know Christian. He's also a Taurus like me. I don't know if that would work. Okay. All right. So let's get to our next caller. Okay. Live chat. We've already posted the calling for you, but if you remember, we've left it on the post tab on YouTube. However, I will drop the call link again, but we do have a few people backstage. Shady, not Ashy. I just wanted to let you know your devices are not connected. You're not up next, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. You might have to drop out and call back. Okay. Shady, not Ashy. Okay. All right. Cynthia's up next. We're going to bring Cynthia up. Cynthia, what's going on? Cynthia, you're muted.
Hi, Kempire. How are you?
Was that music in the background?
Oh, that my kids are watching Jurassic Park. That's why I'm on this dating app live, because I don't have a life.
Oh, that's okay. Yes, you do.
How you doing?
What's going on?
Nothing. I know this is probably like a conversation for a therapist, but I have absolutely no motivation to date, and I don't know why. I've been divorced for, I want to say about 2 years. Married about 13 years to a Taurus.
Excuse me. The best years of your life.
It's allergy season. Allergy season.
And I'm a Cancer, and I'm a lover girl. I wouldn't say he's an ex, but there's a guy that I'm talking to that I was kind of dating, but we were not in a relationship before I married my ex-husband. Kemper, I don't know if you remember the Scorpio. When we had that astrology live with her. So do you have any advice for me? Because it's really scary out here. I don't know what to do. I have no motivation. I'm a single mother of two. So,
well, my first question is, why do you feel like you have to be dating if you don't want to?
I don't feel like I have to be dating, but I would like the companionship and going out, on romantic dates. I'm a lover girl.
Okay.
Because I'm available on the weekends. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what are you doing towards going out on the weekends or exploring your options? What are you doing towards that?
Nothing.
Okay, well, that's why we're not going out on the weekend.
You know what, Keisha? I don't feel motivated because I know there was a girl that mentioned something about Hinge. One of my girlfriends went through that same experience. A guy posted that, he was looking for a marriage, and they dated for almost 2 months. And he said, that maybe he's moving too slow, that he doesn't want marriage. So, a lot of stuff is going on. Right. With the apps and the dating atmosphere out there. So like I said, I really don't feel motivated to dating. I don't know why.
Well, that's
love to
How old are your kids?
My son will be 8 and my daughter will be 6.
Okay, so you have young kids.
I have young kids. I have them Monday through Friday. That's our divorce agreement. I have the kids Monday through Friday, and then my ex-husband has the kids on the weekends.
So your weekends are open. The first thing that came to mind in regards to when you said you're not motivated, it wasn't about dating someone else. I think you need to date yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I'm open to doing that, Kempire. I really am.
Yeah.
I really am. I am.
Yeah,
I
because
really am.
it doesn't sound like it's a huge priority for you right now to integrate somebody else into your life. So maybe rediscover Cynthia. What Cynthia likes. What does Cynthia like to do on a Saturday when Cynthia has no kids? What does Cynthia like to eat? What does she like to shop? Marshalls or Saks? You know what I
You're
mean?
right. You're
Those
absolutely right, guys.
Do
I
we
like
need dish
Marshalls.
towels or shoes? Like let Cynthia figure those things out because Cynthia's mom all week. So
I'm telling you. And
you
I'm a
know,
mom all week. I work as a nurse full time. I'm
right.
in school to get my master's to be a nurse practitioner. It's just a lot, you know.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
A lot of
And
things to be
dating
excited
would be
about.
fun too because it'd be nice somebody to buy you dinner. That's how I look at it. But but date yourself. Take Cynthia out on a date. See where she likes to go. Maybe there's a new restaurant in the neighborhood she likes.
And I'm sure your girlfriends have been waiting for you to have some free time too.
Yeah, that is true. You know, most of my girlfriends are married, Kempire.
Okay, they might have suggestions. You got a single friend?
Or your married friends might want to go out too. They need to date themselves too.
That's true. I went out a couple of weeks ago for a brunch.
Okay, see?
And another thing, I know we said we listen and we don't judge. So the Scorpio guy that I'm talking to, all we do is just sleep with each other. So I mean,
so you're getting a little something on.
I am, but he called me today because I don't call. I'm like, I'm honestly, I'm afraid of getting my heart broken, to be honest too. So yeah, so yeah.
But he called you today, so it's a situationship.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that though?
I think he's a divorcee. I think he's a good dad. He's a great dad.
No. How do you feel about it?
How do I feel about the situationship?
Yeah, how do you feel about that? He's a good dad. That's good. How do you feel about the situation?
I think I will want a little bit more, slowly, but
with him or somebody else?
Keisha, I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know what I want, to be honest.
Well, you know what? It ain't broke, so you don't have to fix it. And there's nothing wrong with a situationship if you're okay with it. But just all you got to do is like, do I want something more with him or something else? Because he could just be a situationship, and that is.
And he's a Scorpio, so I know
he's a Scorpio.
That's okay. I think, Cynthia, you're being hard on yourself because you've said to us, you're afraid of a little of a commitment here. You're afraid of heartbreak. And I understand all that because you've been through a lot and you're really taking care of children and not Cynthia. So dating yourself would be really nice. And it's okay to have the types of relationships you're having until you figure out what you want.
Yeah, because I'm going to be 42 in June. So, yeah.
Okay. It's okay. Everything is okay. You're doing well. And date yourself.
Yep. I guess I'll do that then.
Yeah.
I'm open to advice.
And then, slowly but surely, again, go hang out with your girlfriends, date yourself. And again, dating yourself doesn't mean you have to buy anything. You could go for a walk. You can go, there's all kinds of free things that you can do when dating yourself. You could just date yourself in your house. You're like, you know what? I'm just going to sit in and enjoy my house with no kids.
That's what I do on the weekends. They're going to their dad's 2 nights. Bye. I'll see you guys on Mondays.
Right.
Thank you guys so much for your advice. I mean, to all the single girls out there, let's just keep hope alive and keep praying.
Thanks, Cynthia.
Take care, Kempire. Take care, Keisha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
I love that though, because that's another example of like, oh, I should be doing this, but I don't know if I really want to do this. And it's like, going back to you about, the situationship, it goes back to like, oh, you think women think that they have to have a commitment? No, you've done that. You've been there.
Yeah. Especially right now in this space, ease your way into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. We have more people backstage that we're going to bring up. We have Zoe calling all the way from calling all the way from South Africa. Zoe, what's going on?
Hi, Zoe.
Hi. How are you guys? How you doing?
Very well. You?
I'm good. I cannot believe I'm about to tell you guys my secrets, but it's Kempire. I always tell him my secrets. I don't know what he does to me. Whenever I go to a Kempire, I just spill all of my dirt. And then get ashamed and come back and apologize and try to clean it up. He knows the roller coaster ride.
It's okay. We listen, don't judge. What did you want to share with us tonight?
Okay, so I have been now. Well, I thought I was in a relationship until I listened to your guys speak. Then I realized that actually, I need to check my timeline because from oh my god, Kempire.
Oh, sorry, my face is reacting. I'm sorry.
I
No,
know. Then your face throws me off. This time when I look at my phone and I talk to you, I usually look at the wall. So I realized that I was in a situationship from 21 years old until 2020. When 2020 hit down and the lockdown happened, and he refused to spend time with me during the lockdown, I realized I'm in a situationship because South Africa never was transparent with us. They were like, "Oh, it was only 2 weeks," so we thought it was 2 weeks. So I'm like, "Oh, just hang out with me for 2 weeks." We were on lockdown for 2 weeks because they were like easing us into it. He refused to spend 2 weeks with me. And then I told my friend, and my friend was like, "Babe, I've been telling you for years, you are in a situationship with this guy. He doesn't want you. Let him go." I met him when I was 18, and then started dating when I was 21. And then 2020, I think I was 24.
Oh.
And then 2 weeks into when they announced lockdown was in March 26th of March. That's when South Africa announced 2 weeks of lockdown. So we thought it was just 2 weeks. We didn't know it would last as long as it did. Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, it's only 2 weeks." We've been together like for 3 years at that point. I'm like, 2 weeks of lockdown, like what's the problem? And then he refused. And then I told my friend, like he refused to hang out with me for 2 weeks during lockdown. And my friend's like, "I've been telling you he's not the one." And then during that when 2 weeks ended, they announced the extension. So South Africa just kept on adding another week until it was 2-3 years of lockdown. So on the third week, I was like, "Oh, my friends were right. I'm in a situationship. This guy doesn't want me. He doesn't want to be with me." But I still didn't give up. And then in 2021, that's where live coach Keisha come in, and the other caller, I think 2 callers before, when you guys talking about going on vacation, because my stupid bum Kempire paid for the whole vacation, everything. All he had to do was just show up, and he did show up. And he was moody as hell. Bear in mind, I'm a Gemini. I have mood swings of my own, but his mood swings was something I even myself couldn't comprehend.
Wow.
It was weird. And I texted my friend and I was telling him what he was doing. He made me waste so much money. I paid for the whole vacation, activities for the whole weekend. And then he didn't want to go out, didn't want to get out of bed, didn't want to go shower, he had an excuse for everything. And lucky for me, all the things that I paid for, the weather was not that great either. So all the service providers refunded me everything. And I broke up with him on a Sunday morning at 3 a.m. I woke up. I'm like, "We have to have a conversation. You don't like me. You don't want to be with me. Let's stop faking it. We're going to a year number 5 now. Like, this is ridiculous. Let's just end this." And then we ended it, and it was done. And
5 years.
Yeah, and I was so heartbroken that I had to move cities.
Whoa.
When I met your Kempire, I told you I was in Johannesburg.
Mm-hmm.
I moved from Johannesburg to Durban.
Oh, okay.
Just to get away from him and start afresh because I couldn't recognize myself anymore. And then I just moved back to Johannesburg 2 months ago.
Wow.
To regain my identity, because Joburg is my city, is where I belong, is where I feel at home. It's where I recognize myself. I left because of him. I didn't want to bump into him. I didn't want nothing to do with him. I don't want to be a sister reminded me of him. So when a lockdown, COVID, and everything was officially over, I was allowed to move cities again. I moved and I got a job elsewhere and I went to Durban. And then I was there for 2 years and I was like, "This is not me. I don't belong here." And I moved back to Johannesburg. And I'm in Joburg now. and I work for a bank. I told you I got a promotion. That's why I've been so busy to the point where I missed half of your life. And I catch it when I catch it. And whenever I catch it, I always interact because I miss those days where I was like up to date with you and everything. I miss my life. No. And I'm slowly coming back to my life. And now here's the juicy part. And I'm sure you're going to smack me through the screen. You're allowed to. I won't
listen and we don't judge. What is it?
Thank you. So I had an issue with my laptop like a week ago. So they had to go to IT, and then I saw this guy in IT.
In your business at your place of work?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a bank. It's a bank. I'm in the head office. There are branches all over. So there are thousands of us. We don't even know each other. Like, God, I don't know half of the people there. That's how big and how massive it is. Okay. Right? So because I had a laptop issues, they told me to go to IT personally to get it fixed. So I have to drive like to a next block to IT department. That's how massive the bank is. It's head office.
Okay.
So I go there and they tell me to go to this guy. His name is Zakes. And I hand him over my laptop. And while he's fixing my laptop, we start chatting. He's cute. And then he's like, I would like to keep talking to you. And I'm like, yeah, sure. You can hit me up on Teams. Because I'm a compliance officer and he's IT. I've never dated from work. I don't date from work. So when he said, I would like to keep talking to you, I was like, yeah, hit me up on Teams. And a friend was like, you idiot. You were supposed to give me your number. I'm like, oh, I missed that. So I started searching for him on Teams, but his name is common. Background information. Africans, we share names, surnames, because we're tribes and everything like that. When it comes to our emails, the only thing that differentiates is a number. For example, Kempire Jasaleen 12, Kempire Jasaleen 13, 14, 15, because of we in South Africa, tribes, African names, very similar. So people end up sharing same names, everything. So the differentiation is the department, your job title, and the number on your email. So it was hard for me to find him.
Did you?
So I finally found it. I did. Finally, 4 days later of searching, I finally found him because he had a profile picture and his name was spelled in a unique way, not a typical African spelling. He had a couple of letters. I'm like, and I saw the profile picture. I'm like, that's a guy. So this is how I started the conversation. I'm like, I spent 4 days looking for you. Your name is like so weird to find because so many of you, but finally I find you. Hey, what's up? And then he responds like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good. And you? It's like, I'm good. Are you at the office? Like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm doing well, but it's early in the morning. Give me a couple of hours. I'll find something to complain about. And it's like, ha, 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 ha. Are you working at the office? I'm like, yeah. And that was it for a day. And then I was like, I'm not going to go back. I said, yep. He didn't respond for a whole day. I can't text him because now it looks like I'm chasing him. So I left it. And then a day later, he comes back. He's like, I'll say it in Zulu. It's like, Ntwana yami, which means, what's up? And I'm like, hi, how you doing? And that's it. And it's Saturday morning. I'm like, what the hell? Do you like me? Do you not like me?
Wait, Zoe. This is why you should have exchanged numbers, because if it's me, I don't really want to have a personal conversation.
I know. And that's where your guys come in.
Also, Zoe, this is also your compliance that I'm texting with.
Right.
So it's a little precarious situation. Like, I need your phone number so I can be like, talking that stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where your guys come in. How do I get him to exchange numbers without me offering? Because I feel like if I offer my number, that means I'm available and free. And I don't want him that. I want him to be like, can we take this off WhatsApp? I I understand that my role as a compliance officer for the bank might be intimidating. I get that. I thought about it. And I thought maybe I should give him my number. I have a draft. Let me tell you. I have a draft text message that says, I haven't sent it yet.
Oh.
I was hesitated, but I tapped it. And it goes, hey, you are such a horrible texter, but I know you're fun to chat with. So here's my number so that you can talk to me when you're not so busy.
Oh, that's
passive. Is that bad?
Much? That's very passive aggressive.
I mean,
I'll leave it up to the life coach.
I mean, so I would have reached out already. I probably would have went back with my computer, and I probably wouldn't do it over work. Do you know what I mean?
I attempted. I had a network issue, and I was hoping that they would get me to the back because it's like the back office. But then they were like, "Oh no, we can fix this." I'm like, "Why? Send me to the back." But they fixed it in the front office, so I couldn't go to the back. And that's it.
You want to talk to him, correct?
I do.
So go reach out.
I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him on WhatsApp. I want to get to know him, but I don't want to offer myself up.
Well, it's your number. It's not yourself. Your number.
Hey, if I give him my number, he will like, oh yeah, she's ready, and I am. Okay, fine. I will give him my number. I'll figure it out. But here's another thing.
We'll cross the other bridge when we get there, but it's just a number. It's just a number. Yeah, we're not offering anything else. We're not doing anything.
Just a number.
Yeah. And if you give him the number directly and he doesn't reach out, then we could talk about something else.
Then I know.
But right now, it's just a number.
Okay, here's problem 2.0.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking ahead, right?
You're thinking ahead? No, we're not doing that because you already created a problem that's not there.
No, I will tell you why he said on the conversation that makes me think I should be smart enough to think ahead. When we were chatting, he told me that he has 2 kids. I have 0. Right. And my thing is, when he was talking to me, I felt like I was having a conversation with Bryn Whitfield. Like he was trying to manipulate me into being okay with everything that he has going on. But the thing is, I can be because I don't really think that he might be the one unless he's amazing and great to convince me. Right now, he's auditioning to be my shack partner at 2 a.m.
We are thinking way too far ahead. Yeah. You're talking about him being the one. Girl, he don't even have your number.
No, I know he's not. That's what I'm saying. I know he's not. So
we don't know that. We don't know yet.
Okay. I can see why Kempire is losing his mind.
No,
I'm thinking too far, man.
No, you've been here a part of the channel for years at this point. So we're not judging, but we're lovingly telling you that you're thinking too far ahead.
But ahead. Yeah. I should slow it down. Because in my head, I already have him on a booty call list. And I don't even know his last name.
Right.
Because I'm like, I'm not going to marry you.
Zoe, you need to be distracted. You might need somebody else's phone number when you get his to just keep it even. You know what I mean? Because he's getting a lot of attention, good, bad, or indifferent. So you might want to have 2 booty call phone numbers just to keep it even. So you don't have all your attention focused on one person. Kemp, this goes back to something you asked. Is it okay to date multiple? This is a perfect example of Zoe already needs a distraction.
Yeah. Okay, I think too much because in my head I'm like 2 babies, and I feel like I'm being manipulated. But having a conversation with him, I'm already thinking, you're telling me way too much about your personal life, and I don't even know you. It feels like you're trying to woo me in, and I felt manipulated, and I'm not there yet. I just think you're hot, and I think you have a really good package, and I want to explore that. So can you shut up about your own feelings and thoughts? I'm not interested. I'm not there yet. You are too far ahead. You're exposing too much, and I'm judging you too harshly already.
I think you're reading way too much into
too much.
He's treating him a little bit like he's the ex.
Yeah, it's like, wait,
right?
We're not there.
It's like I'm dumping all my trauma, and I'm treating him like I might get involved and then I might turn into a situationship. So I would rather oh my God, I'm diagnosing myself. I'm turning him to a situationship because I'm trying to avoid waking up and finding out 4 years later that I'm a situationship. So I'd rather be in control of the situation, and I'm preventing and diagnosing. Oh my God, I'm crazy, ain't I?
No,
okay,
not really. I mean, you're a Gemini, but
yeah,
Not crazy.
That's why I said I'm crazy, and because I'm like I'm diagnosing. Oh my God. Okay, but we'll see. But he's so hot, Kempire. I would DM you his picture. I went and I searched on LinkedIn. He is like amazing. I screenshot his picture. I said to my friend, I'm like,
too much. You're saying too much. You are the compliance officer at this company. Goodbye. Goodbye. We'll talk more about this.
Good night. I'm loving this.
Oh, wait, sorry, Zoe. Yeah, because I'm also trying to protect your job because you might be revealing a little too much about this sister. But El Singleton asked this question. Question to the life coach: is it a red flag since he has not asked for her number?
He kind of, it's hard to say if it's a red flag or not because he kind of said, "I want to get to know you better." That could have meant he asked for the number, but we're assuming. And the only conversation they really had is at work. So I don't think he's playing it correct. You know what I mean? You don't have this kind of conversation at work. He did kind of say, "I'd like to know you better." That's when she probably could have get the cell phone, but not on the work teams where, no.
And she's compliance.
Yeah. Well, she's an employee and so is he at the same time. Yeah. So no, unless she goes back and he's like, "Can I have your cell phone?" No, I think he's handling it cautiously, and I don't think he's wrong in how he's handled it.
And I've always been like that at work too. Like there have been people subordinates that have flirted with me, and I'm like,
Right. Now, if you saw me at the bus stop,
it's different.
Right.
Just saying. All right. We have a few more people backstage. If you're just joining us, guys, we are here with life coach Keisha. More information on how you can get a free 30-minute consultation plus 15% off with the discount code Kempire will be available in the description. And everyone that's always asking me about my skincare routine. So take a look at what I'm doing currently for my skincare routine, and more information will be available in the description. So I shared with you my morning skincare routine. Now I'm sharing my nighttime skincare routine, brought to you by our friends over at Butter. Over the last several weeks, we've partnered with Butter, and I've been utilizing their skincare routine, and I have been loving it. So let me share with you my nighttime skincare routine. It's very simple, and it's made even simpler by our friends over at Butter. First, I start off with their cleanser. Wash your face with their cleanser. Then I use their silky soft towel, which I love. They're disposable. They are quality. You shouldn't be using the same towel that you use to dry your body on your face. And then I'm using their retinol. People don't understand the benefits of retinol. Smaller pores, youthful skin. A lot of people don't even utilize this. You should. All you need next is their Cocoa Shea moisturizer. As I've said before, they've made my routine a lot simpler because I've had to use a different morning moisturizer versus what I use at night. With their Cocoa Shea moisturizer, I can utilize it for my morning and my evening. I just put a little bit less on in the morning. At night, I put a little bit more. And that's it for my nighttime routine. One of the other big questions that people have asked me, is there a scent in the moisturizer? Very light scent. The other question people have asked me, is Butter Black owned? Not only is it Black owned, their president is a Black woman. But of course, you also ask, can we get a discount? Of course, get 10% off when you use my link, butterskin.com/Kempire. More information on Butter will be available in the description. Thanks, Butter. More information again will be available in the description. What did you say?
I need to get me some butter.
Butter.
Yeah.
All right. We have a few more people backstage that have stories or questions, and we're going to bring them up, and then we're going to wrap it up for the night. But if you're part of the replay crew, don't forget to share your thoughts, opinions, and suggestions. But as always, we listen and we don't judge. So do not be judgmental in the comment section. The audio of this will be available on the Kempire podcast. Subscribe today and join the Club Kempire subscription so you can hear my latest recap on The White Lotus. All right. Shady.
Wait, I was going to say, before you bring on someone else, I just want to comment a little bit on the Zoe thing. That was a perfect example of spending 5 years with someone. She meets someone new, and she's put all that baggage from those 5 years on this new person. He tells her about children. Another woman would be like, "Oh, I'm glad he was honest from up front." She's like, "Why are you telling me all of this?" You know, she's making, you know what I mean? So guys, you got to make sure that you're not judging the new person based on somebody else's mistakes, you know? So that's something, you know, that
how do you find the balance though? Because I think it is important to assess the things that you've learned from the past in different relationships. How do you do a healthy balance of assessing what you learned from the past with also not over complicating a situation because of your baggage from the past?
I think reflection, because Zoe said, "Oh, wait, I'm diagnosing myself right now." She finally said it out loud, and she's like, "Wait a minute." And all we said to her was like, "It sounds like you're kind of judging him based on the ex." And she put it all together. Do you know what I mean? So like the last show we had, I said, I give a lot of homework. You got to talk to yourself in the mirror and be like, what am I talking about? Why am I pursuing this man? Why am I not pursuing this man? Am I not calling this man because the other one never called me? Like, you know, you got to figure out why you're holding yourself back, because you want to talk to him, you want to meet him. You're not calling him. Why? Because the other one didn't do it, or because you really have that standard? Like, what's the big deal? You know what I mean? So you just really have to reflect and be like, why am I not doing this? Or why am I doing this kind of thing? So
I like with the Jasaleen situation in regards to, if it didn't work before, why are you still doing the same thing?
Right. But she also had the confession and said that one of the things that Leo checked off on her box was he pursued. Did he really? He just called you. And then Wynterr was like, well, the other one doesn't call, so she doesn't see pursued. See, so it all that means something different to someone else. Because to Jasaleen, she's like, well, he calls me all the time. She thinks she's being pursued. Wynterr is like, well, he doesn't call me. He's not pursuing me. The other one.
And that's the great thing about dating, is you start to figure out those details. You start to figure out, like, yes, I like what Leo did in regards to pursuing me, but I need him to actually show up in person.
Right. That's why our simple advice is always like, get another distraction. That's why I said to you at the beginning, you're like, how many people is too much? It really is a personal thing, because sometimes it's not about attachment, it's about comparison. And I don't mean that in an ugly way, because it's that Leo and the church comparison kind of thing. Date somebody else because you're hung up on this person because he's attractive. That's wonderful. Get another perspective. Be like, I really didn't like IT. I really didn't like, he was good looking, but I didn't really like him. But when you have more than one thing on your plate, sometimes you kind of pick your favorite.
Yeah. And my thing is, for Zoe's situation, Zoe, thank you so much for the super chat. Zoe says, a case study, I am broken, a Gemini, not easy. You got to start changing the language too.
Yeah, you're not broken, girly. You're just living your life.
And she's young. Zoe's young. Zoe's in her 20s.
Has a good job, Don't be fooled by a pretty face, Zoe.
Angel says, question, spinning the block with an ex. If there's been growth. Oh, wait, we answered this already.
Yeah.
Okay. Ellen Slington asked a question for life coach. I love this. Should we date people we work with?
No.
Oh, no? I thought you were going to say something different.
I am not. It depends if they're on a different floor. I mean, it's really hard, because what if it gets ugly? Now you brought it to work. You know what I mean? What if it gets ugly and now you bring it to work and now you're airing your dirty laundry? Let's have a place for everything. Like, you sleep in your bedroom, you watch TV in your living room. I date over here and I work over here. I think it's really important to have a sacred space for everything.
Yeah. Hey, one of my questions to you would be, would you date someone that provides a service for you?
I mean, again, I date everybody. I think I feel like I'm the wrong person to answer that. I think yes and no, because I don't think that dating at the beginning should be exclusive. You know what I mean? I really think there's a lot of benefit in dating multiple people at the same time. And when I say multiple, I'm not saying 10, and don't misunderstand dating.
Sleeping with everyone.
Right. You know what I mean? Because I really think it gives you clarity. So if somebody is offering you a service, and you end up dating them, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because you're just going to dinner. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think that's a bad thing. I'd go to dinner.
Bree says, what if you plan on leaving the company? Then
go for it.
Just don't tell them that you're leaving the company, because before you're ready to leave the company, don't share all your information.
Right. You have to be careful when it comes to like work. It's just like, even if you have children, you don't introduce everybody you date to your children. You should introduce everybody you date to your paycheck or your place of employment. I think I think that's a safe space.
I think we answered this question, but we can say it again for those that are just joining us. Angel asks, is it okay to date multiple people at once? At what age should you stop and look for exclusivity?
I don't think you ever stop until you're ready, because you have empty nesters. Why does the empty nester, you can go out with Tom on Tuesday and Brad on Friday, and what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? You're grown, you raised your kids, you know what I mean? Mortgage is paid. So go to dinner. I think you become exclusive when you met that person and you're both on the same page. That's because in dating, I might get on the page way faster than you get on the page, So I think you become exclusive when you're both on the same page, because you could be all in and he's like, I'm not ready yet. A lot of people don't love that, I'm not ready yet kind of. My husband, I remember when I said, are you my boyfriend? He told me that was a big word.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
20 years ago.
Jill told me it was a big word. You know what I mean? So, and that just means that we were probably on a different page at the time. Do you know what I mean? So I think that there's not a timeline. You will know if you want to be exclusive, and not because you choose to be exclusive. That's that other person's choice. And that's where a lot of people run into, issues, because you're ready and you think this person and they're not ready, and you're judging yourself. You're like, well, why won't you be with me? Why can't you just be with me? It's nothing to do with you. They might be a hot mess. They may not value relationship. They may not value marriage. They may want to keep dating. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people take that personally. And it's,
and that's beyond just dating. In life, we take everything that someone else is doing as personal, and you just don't know what they are necessarily going through. That goes for strangers on the street that may have bumped you, and you're like, oh, what the hell?
Right.
You don't know what they're going through. They could be dealing with a lot. They could be dealing with a loss, or you just never know. So I think that is something that we should all be mindful of in general. Soul Bomb Sister says, I had a rule not to date at work, but if you are spending majority of your time there, then where do you meet people? We know that.
Right. I think it just goes back to, you just be careful, because it is your place of employment. You don't want to bring, the same way you don't want to pop up at a house, you don't want to pop up at your desk either. That's the thing. You know what I mean? That it's really hard to draw that boundary if you're working together, because you're like, why are you always at the water cooler? You're being stalked. You see what I mean?
And you're asking people. Yeah, it can get, that's why I've never dated anyone.
Right.
That's always been a rule for me.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a hard no, right? Yeah. It's not a hard no, but I think it's really hard to keep the boundaries, because you're like, why are you outside the bathroom? You know what I mean? So that's where you wanna. And what do you do now? Do you go to HR? What do you do? So yeah. So be careful.
L. Singleton asks, what zodiac is Coach Keisha?
What do you think?
I'm a proud... I don't understand your question. What age should be a cutoff for Kemp? What do you mean, what age? I don't know what you mean. You have to clarify that question.
Yeah.
Keisha is an Aries. It's Aries season.
All my glory. No, I definitely think that there's no hard no's, but you have to be careful. Boundaries are really important in dating. And I think the water cooler in the bathrooms could be issues. You know what I mean? Because how do you tell them stop going to the water cooler? Right?
Yeah, I've never dated anyone at work. Ever. Have you ever dated anyone at work?
I'm married to him.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. That was for a short period of time, right? It wasn't for a long.
And even though, and I have to add to when I asked him if he's going to be my boy, are you my boyfriend? And he's like, that's a big word. In my mind, he was my boyfriend. In his mind, I don't know what he thought he was, but he was my boyfriend. You know what I mean? So, and not because he didn't give me the title at that time changed my feelings. That's the other thing that people experience in dating. You're only willing to give your feelings if they're validated. Well, I like you whether you like me or not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And when you go back to
women, that's hard to admit to a man.
Right, but you don't have to admit it to him. You admit it to yourself. You know what I mean? You don't have to tell him Huh?
That's even harder.
Yeah. But it's like you going back to like your crush in kindergarten. Do you know what I mean? It's like what's wrong with admitting it to yourself? You don't need the validation. In kindergarten, you didn't need it. As we get older, we need someone to validate our love for them. Why? You love them. So are you going to stop loving them because they don't love you? No.
Michelle says, nah, if you don't like me, I don't like you. Come on. That's not true.
It's not true.
You're forcing yourself not to like that person.
Right. And now you got stressed because you're mad at yourself and judging yourself. Why do I like this person and they don't like me back? Because you like them. They may not deserve you, but you like them. You might love them and had babies with them.
Semahar says,
you're judging yourself.
Semahar says, and if y'all have a disagreement about work, how do you separate that in the relationship?
You can't. That's why it's hard. Yeah. If you like drama, go for it.
And some of these people like drama.
Right.
There are a lot of people they get excited from the drama. So
and then call in HR when he's at the water cooler.
And then call us and let us know all about it.
I love it.
All right. Shady, not Ashy. Now it says device is not connected. And I was about to bring you up. I'll give you a second. Miss Melanie Magic says, what age would you recommend that Kemp not date at this point? Excuse me? I don't understand that question either. What age man would you recommend Kemp not date at this point?
Oh, at what age men, like 20-year-olds? But I think that's really hard because if you're an empty nester, you may not want a 25-year-old, or you might, I don't know. I don't think all that is very individual, very specific. I personally like somebody a little bit younger than me, but that's just me. Some people like somebody who's a little bit older. I don't think there's like, oh, he's 22, so he's immature. No, you've met some grown men that are immature.
I will say I get hit on a lot lately in the last few years, a lot by 20-year-olds. Must be that butter skincare.
Okay.
But I'm hesitant because I've been such an advocate of 20-year-olds living their lives, going and traveling, doing all the things, dating all the people, doing all that stuff. I personally wouldn't to have a good time is one thing, but to seriously date and settle down, if that's what you feel like you're ready for, because there are some 20-year-olds that are ready for that. There are some 20-year-olds that I've had conversations with. I'm like, you're 20-something? Oh, like the maturity is there. And I remember when I was 20, I was like, yeah, I want to date a 40-something-year-old person because I had an old spirit. Now I'm an old man.
No, but to some of the things though that you would like in a relationship is checked off by a 20-something-year-old. That's probably why you attract them. The spontaneity, the travel, the freeness. Somebody who is your age, got a career. They're about their business. They're about their money. They're about a lot of different things. So again, that's why the list is helpful, because you'll be like, is this more important than this one, kind of thing? You know what I mean? So that's a good example of when the list is of value. But some of the qualities that you want in a person does come with a little youth, because they don't have they're not established in their career yet, so they can jet set wherever they want to. You might have to pay for the ticket though. That's the difference.
I'm okay with paying for the ticket, especially as long as I don't feel as if you're living off of me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like an independent person.
Right.
I love how everyone in the chat has their opinions on who I should date. It's okay. Luckily for you guys, y'all know I don't care.
Right. But thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let me bring up Shady Not Ashy. What in the hell? Shady Not Ashy.
Hey Kempire, how are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm doing good. So I know that this is supposed to be for dating, but I saw in the headline this is about for life. For me, I don't have anything concerning with dating. I really would like help with like the girlfriend friendship part because I've outgrown some friends. I'm now in a place where like I'm not what's the word? Like parts of my life is like for older people, but then my youthfulness, I'm like, I wanna sometimes be in a club shaking my butt. And then the other things is like I have responsibilities. I'm married, I got 2 kids, like I have a mortgage. So, you know, like how do I and it's hard to like make friends like that instantaneous thing you see on TV or like in movies where like, oh, your name's Ashley, my name's Ashley with a Y, and yours is with 2 E's. Let's be best friends. Like, how do you cultivate that? Because I'm a likable person because I'm in sales. Like, I can make relationships quickly, but it's really hard, and I get kind of down and out when like nothing happens out of it, or if I have to keep trying to make fetch happen in a sense, like. You know, trying to be like, okay, like, all right, let's go get coffees today. And you're like, or I brought you this coffee because I know you told me you like Dunkin' Donuts, and it's now Valentine's Day, and I'm like, here's a $10 Dunkin' Donuts so you can treat yourself, something like that. But I don't want it to come off like I'm desperate for friends because I kind of am. Like, I love my husband, love my kids. And I love my church members.
You need your own life outside of that. You don't want to identify completely as the wife. And
then now that, you know, my husband has crossed over past the, 50-year mark, we do have a little bit of age
I thought you were going to say that your husband crossed over to the other side. You scared me.
It's kind of also a thing where, like, like his friends are, like, been married for, like, 25 years.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of like, I don't relate.
Yeah, you don't relate with that with those folks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Coach Keisha, what are your suggestions for dating?
One of the ugliest words I think in the English vocabulary is try. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like there's so much effort in that word. But I would say do things that you like to do. Go to the places you like to go because that's where you'll have like-minded people. You know, I think that's what it goes back to your point earlier, Kemp, that, people are not necessarily dating themselves. And, Shady Not Ashy, you probably need to date yourself a little bit. Like, go places, do things, if it's Marsha's, if it's Saks, if it's like brunch by yourself, because you'll run into people who are just like you, like-minded. And I think that would be very helpful.
All right. I appreciate the advice. I think that's really helpful. I didn't really think about that.
But you're also a Taurus. You don't like a lot of friends.
I don't like a lot of friends.
But you want like your.
I want my people.
Yeah.
I want my people.
Yeah,
well,
I get
that. I want my people that can call and be like, at the end of the month, let's go do this, or let's plan a trip. Like, even though I love my husband, I love our friend groups that have a lot of families and stuff. It's just like being in a place with like 12 kids yelling is the reason I got out of public school education.
Right.
Just the thought. I'm like,
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye.
That was a good piece of advice because you don't stop dating when you get married. You don't stop dating because you're an empty nester. You don't stop dating yourself. There's a huge value in that because she would probably find like-minded people doing things she likes to do. Yeah. If she wants to go to the club, hey, more to it. She might find a friend at the club. We're not here to judge. You just got to go where you're comfortable and there'll be a friend there for you.
Yeah. And that's also a reminder to those that are just joining us. I'm with Life Coach Keisha. Life Coach Keisha doesn't cover relationships. She also helps a lot of executives and things like that. Talk a little bit more about your business and what people can expect when meeting with you.
I mean, it's like you said, thank you for that introduction too. I talk to everybody, a lot of professionals, people just looking to evolve and change and just need a little validation. Be like, go ahead and do it. Make that phone call, go on the cruise with the girlfriends. And, because we all get stuck in a rut. It doesn't matter if it's a career, if it's, family, sometimes you do need a little inspiration on like, how do I just get out of this box, even if it's for a half hour.
Yeah.
If you like to work out, go work out. You might meet a friend there, shady, not ashy. Like if you like to do certain things, go do that. It doesn't have to be like dating. It doesn't always have to be about career. Make time for other things, And again, when it comes back to any relationship, just take away some of the pressure from it. We have to do a lot of things in life that we like and we don't like, but we do them. But for some reason, when it comes to like intimate relationships, there's always like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. Oh, I don't know if I could do that. And let's talk about money. I do a lot of coaching on money. You have an intimate relationship with money as well. You have a relationship with everything in life. How you do one thing, you do everything. So you have to spend a moment and think about like, what do I really want, and what are my choices? Are they facilitating that change, or is it hindrance? That's what you have to do. And you don't have to ask anybody. You could ask yourself, because you could call your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, and they could give you a list of all the things that you might be lacking in. But that's their version and that's their interpretation. What do you want? How do you want to do that?
Yeah. Tanya says, at my age, most of my friends are from the gym.
See? Yeah. Go where you're comfortable. Find your tribe. I speak to people at Starbucks all the time.
Really?
I love Starbucks.
I don't know if I've ever made a friend at the gym, though.
No, but you make friends other places, because when you go to the gym, you're
I
focused
get it. Why people do.
Right. When you go to the gym, you're focused on something. When you go to work, you're focused on something. When you go to sometimes on dating, you're focused on a husband or a wife or a baby mama or, or a babysitter, whatever it is, So that's the thing. We don't need to be so heavy. We don't have to. The word try is so ugly. We should take it out of the dictionary, erase it. Because it's tiring. I try to eat well. I try to exercise. I try to work hard. I try to be a good mom. Jeez, that's exhausting.
I'm exhausted with you saying it.
You can tell I don't love it, right? It's not my word.
So I'm going to bring Keith up next, but then I'm going to just take a quick potty break.
Right.
So I'll let Keisha do her thing. Let's bring up Keith. Keith, what's going on?
Hey, y'all. Hey.
I'll be right back.
So,
keep
yeah, no problem. So yes, I know that earlier you said that they are an ex for a reason.
Right.
However, I do need some clarity because my situation is a little sticky.
Okay.
So I previously used to live in Los Angeles. Now I live in New York.
Okay.
And when I was in Los Angeles, I was dating this guy who is 11 years older than me.
Right.
At this time, I was 21, turning 22. He was 22, turning 20. He was 32, turning 33.
Okay.
Our birthdays are 10 days apart. So I'm August 23rd. I'm a Virgo. He is a Leo. And we started dating the beginning of August. So like right before both of our birthdays.
Wow.
And we were dating for, I want to say around 7-8 months. However, we broke up because he mentioned to me that the age difference was kind of a problem because he felt like he was kind of stagnating me because at this point I had just officially came out, I guess you can say.
Okay.
So he felt like he wanted me to really start dating a little bit more and really start experiencing with my sexuality, which I totally respected.
Right.
However, I personally think it was something else.
Okay.
Because I remember one time when we were in a group, his friend said some slide comment about me possibly being a sugar baby. Because the guy, he is pretty successful for what he does.
Okay.
So he kind of made a slight comment, and then lo and behold, 2 days later, we ended up breaking up.
Okay.
So that's fine. Time goes on. I end up moving back to New York. I stay in New York for about 2 years, and now I'm actually in the process of moving to Chicago next month.
Okay.
So he heard through the grapevine that I'm moving to Chicago, and I found out that he actually moved to Chicago last year as well.
Wow.
Now, I was like, okay, that's a little ironic, but whatever. So when I found out, he asked if he can like show me around when I get there. I said okay, and he started talking about possibly going out to dinner and seeing if we could possibly get back together or rekindle something. And at this point, like now at this stage of my life, I'm a little bit more vocal on what I'm looking for and what I want in a partner. And at 21, 22, I was a little naive, so I was willing to go along to get along.
Right.
And now I was a little bit more vocal, stating exactly one of the reasons why I felt like the relationship didn't work out previously as well, or because I felt like I was chasing him. And I'm not necessarily a chaser, but I felt like I was kind of going towards him a little bit more than he wanted to go towards me. And now at this point, he said he understood. And then he ended up making a flight to New York City, like within a few days, to come and spend some time with me. So I told my friends this. They said it's a little bit calculative because now he wants to start putting in effort, I guess, to start dating and start actually, you know, making that connection with me. And I'm like, okay, but I feel like had I been a little bit more vocal when I was 21, 22, it could have also been done during this time as well. And I feel like now that I'm being more vocal, he's adjusting his behavior. And I just want to know, like, do you think it's okay if I possibly give him another chance when I do move back to Chicago? Because I feel like he is putting in a little bit of effort more than he was before. But then again, I'm thinking about the age difference. I'm like, well, I turned 26 this year, so it's been about 4 years. And I felt like I have done a little bit of dating during this time, but nothing has lasted more than 3 months. You know, and dating in New York City is rough. Whew. You would think being in New York City is easy, but it is not easy at all.
I heard,
at all.
I heard that, yeah.
But so,
how old is the guy?
The guy now, he is turning 37 this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm turning 26. He's turning 37. And I think you were in the restroom when I said this, but he's a Leo. I'm a Virgo. So I was like, I don't know, maybe. But the thing is, I really love Leos. I really love fire signs. You know, I like how outspoken they are because me, I'm not that outspoken. And I'm not that kind of person that can go around the room and make friends with everybody. And I really like that in a significant other, being able to be the life of the party. So, yeah, so I just really want to know.
I would say, Keith, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And my first question is, do you want to date him again? Not what the friends say.
I do actually.
Not if it's calculated, because, you know, people have their opinions. I'm asking
and their baggage.
Right. So do you want to try again with him?
I do actually want to try again. I honestly didn't want to end the relationship initially. I just felt like if I was a little bit more outspoken, then things possibly could have been a little bit different. So I still actually do want to pursue it, especially when I officially moved to Chicago.
Okay, and if you don't feel empowered by your lack of openness, then you could practice that, but you don't have to change who you are for anybody. Let's just start there. You know, you change for you, Keith. You're going to be open and you're going to talk about your feelings with the people you're comfortable with. So let's start there, right? But, you know, if you want to start dating him again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I will stand by, you know, an ex is an ex for a reason, because you did need the time, you did need to move, you did need the perspective, and you learned that, you know, maybe if I opened up a little bit, but you could have opened up more and it could have still ended the same way. So don't beat yourself up about that. But I would ask him, like, you know, my age hasn't changed. The 10-year difference between us is still 10 years. You know what I mean? And if that comment from the friend you think was an influential comment, you should say, well, you know, Tom said that, you know, you were my sugar daddy. How do you feel about that? Because he could have never said that.
On something. What happened? Wait.
You know what I mean?
Wait, so he dumped you?
Yeah, so he dumped me like 2 days after one of his friends made this slick comment about me possibly being a sugar baby to him,
Oh,
because the guy is pretty successful, and we do go, like when we were dating, we were going on trips. I want to say like every 2 weeks. Like
yes.
I'm talking about out the country. Like it was a great
What's the
experience.
problem? It could be a
Right?
jealous friend, you know.
It sounded like he was real jealous. I think he actually wanted him. If we're being
That
honest,
that part.
I think he actually really wanted him. But I had a great time with him. It was a great experience, and I felt like we had a lot in common. And I do get told that I'm an old soul and that I get along great with older people, and I really do get along better with people that are at least 5 years older than me rather than my age demographic.
Right.
So
Well, I definitely think that you should ask him, because you don't know if he really said that or if this other person said it. So you could be making a judgment call on your Leo based on this person's random comment. You know what I mean?
Oh no, he did say it. The friend
Oh,
did say it, but he broke up with me like 2 days after he said it. So I'm just not sure if it was based off the comment and him and his friend had this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I would
don't know if
ask.
that's possibly happened. And
I
I
would
wanted to
ask.
bring it up, but I'm not sure if, you know.
I would ask, because you'll
Okay.
always you'll have it at the back of your mind to get your answer now in the beginning. You'll have your answer. Your biggest questions are, well, we're still 10 years apart. Are you okay with that now? You know, because that hasn't changed. You're not 5 years apart now. And ask him about that comment. And if every friend that makes a comment means that you're dumping me, then I don't need to be with you. You know what I mean?
Elsington asked you a question, Keith. Are you afraid he'll dump you again?
I am actually. I am, because I've never gone back. Like once I'm done, I'm done. Like I'm officially done. But he's the only person that I've actually been able to stay with and actually want back. You know, like when you leave someone and you're like, okay, it's whatever. But he's the only one that I actually thought about months after it ended. Hell, honestly, years after it ended, like he was still on my mind. Maybe because I was still following him on social media, that probably wasn't helpful. But
No, I don't think you need to worry about it. What do you think? I don't think you need to worry about it. Life happens, Keith.
At this particular point, it doesn't hurt to ask all the questions that you want to ask before it goes anywhere.
Right. Agreed. I agreed. I don't think there's a problem there. If you want to explore it, you explore it. And you can, I would ask the questions and make your decision there.
And keep us posted.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were moving to Chicago.
Yes, I'm moving next month.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, just in time for the
good luck.
good weather.
Exactly. That was my plan. I was like, I can't move during the winter.
No.
That's for sure.
Right. Well, good luck, Keith. Thank
Right.
you for sharing that. Thank you.
Thanks, Keith.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, I missed the juicy details, but it sounds like they had a good relationship, and maybe he listened to, because some people, no matter what age they are,
right,
their friend groups really do influence them.
Right.
I'm not one of those people.
No, I mean, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? But I would ask, because the Leo left him because of the age difference, 21, and he said with 21 and like 31 or something like that. And well, that hasn't changed. If that was an issue 4 years ago, how come it's not an issue now? I would just ask that, just for the hell of it.
I will say, as an older man who's pursued a lot by younger folks, I will say 21, I'd be like,
right.
And if my friends were like, oh, I really don't care what my friends say, but but if they make comments, I'd probably like, because I already would have a feeling. But I do think those years of 21 to 26, 27 are very different. You're a very different person, right? Coming out of college and stuff like that. And maybe Keith is a different person. He's also a Virgo. So I know my community. He's also a Virgo. So there is a level of maturity, even at 21. I think that's what it could be. And maybe in his head, the guy's head at the time, he was sort of like, yeah, you might be too young for me, but I still have been thinking about you since then.
I agree.
And now we're both going to be in the same city?
Yeah.
And you're rich?
Oh, here you go. I mean, I definitely agree. It's worth exploring. Again, there's nothing wrong with dinner.
I'm in a very different era of my life, Keisha. I've been giving away my love for free for too long. I'm waiting for my billionaire.
I know that's right. There's something wrong. Know what you want, but that's a good lesson for your audience too. It's like, you be clear with what you want. Be clear. You
Don't
know what I
shame
mean?
yourself. You don't have to tell
No.
everybody what you want.
No, your list is your list. Your expectations, your expectations. Write it down and burn it. You don't even have to read it tomorrow.
Nope. Nope.
You know what I mean? So I agree.
Okay, we have a couple more people, and we're just going to take these last 2 callers, and then we're going to go because we're not doing 5 hours here. We're already on the second hour. So we appreciate Life Coach Keisha for being here. Again, guys, don't forget, in the description box, there's more information on how you can get a free 30-minute consultation with Life Coach Keisha and 15% off with the discount code Kempire. So don't forget to use that. All right, let's bring up Sierra. Hey, Sierra.
Hey, Kempire. Can you hear me?
Yes. Wait, do you have
Oh, yes. Yeah, hold
do
on.
take them out because it is a little like
Let me take it.
yeah.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot better.
Okay, amazing. Well, hi Keisha, hey Kempire. So Kempire, I don't know if you remember, I called in like last year when you did your first live, like right before the new year. And I was like, Kempire, like it's 2025, I'm gonna be outside. Okay, I've been inside, so I failed. Okay. I've been inside.
What's your sign?
I had all these intentions, like we all do at that time of the year. And at the time, I was like, okay, I work in marketing, but there's a law conference here in Chicago right by my apartment. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to this law conference. I'm gonna meet a lawyer, bag him up. And I got so, I'm so serious. See, that's my Aries moon. My Aries moon, she's ready to go. My Scorpio sun and rising, I trust nobody.
So your Scorpio sun and rising?
Double Scorpio, Aries moon. So it's, a little cray.
Mars.
Right?
Right. Mars. So I'm like on 10, but I'm like secretive, but exciting. But it's a mix of that.
Right.
I feel like I have a weird fear in dating. And I don't know why, because like I could go out, but I'm like on mute. I don't want to talk. And I feel like the same way too with like meeting people and friendships. Like I want to be out, but I've had so many bad experiences that I'm like, maybe I should just stay inside. And then a lot of my friends are like engaged and married, and no tea, no shade to the married and engaged girlies, but they do treat you different. They do. They're like, well, like I'm married, or, I'm engaged, or, like come to this party. But like I just got promoted at work, looking at a senior strategist now, very good. And I'm like, oh, like I work so hard. But it's like, I feel like I've been working so hard for it that I just got it. And it's like, oh, this is great. But it's like, all right, who to celebrate with? Like I call like my sister, my brother. They're amazing. Whatever. Call my parents. Okay, great. But and I come from like a Caribbean background, so everybody's like, okay, like, what are you bringing home? Or so just kind of like, I don't know how to break through. And I love the advice that y'all gave earlier about like dating yourself, but I feel like I did that too hard. Like, I feel like I did myself too much. And now I'm like, I like me and I kind of like my peace. And I don't know if I'm ready for anybody to like disrupt that. So I don't know how to like break out of this weird thing I'm in here.
I mean, 2 things stand out to me. You're afraid of something, and I don't know if it's rejection, acceptance, and I understand you like yourself, but maybe you don't love yourself, because if you loved yourself, you'd be like, you can love me too. And then I don't know why you think that if you step out, you're going to disrupt your peace. What's that about?
Ooh, okay. I wasn't prepared for that part. I just wasn't prepared.
I mean,
okay, all right. Yeah, well, let's just start walking me. No, but I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I've had like such bad experiences in friendships and in dating. I think there's a fear of rejection. And it's kind of like, well, why go the extra mile when I know my safe space is not doing anything, right? Like you can't get hurt if you don't do anything.
Okay, so work on expectations there. That's an expectation thing.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Next. And write them down, because you'll get some clarity when you write it down. I was like, okay, I've been hurt by these friends, family, whoever. And you got to be like, well, what am I expecting from these people that they're hurting me or disappointing me?
Oh, that's good. Well, I don't know. Yeah, no, that cleared me right on. I think that's what I needed to hear, because I think you can do all the work and be like, okay, like, well, like I went out by myself and I traveled, I did it, but it's like I'm still like, what is that thing that I'm missing? And I think it's just like that kind of extra mile to go to get to that point.
I don't know. It might just be a little bit of homework, a little introspection. I don't know if you have a mile to go. You might be right at the door and just afraid to open it. And because you don't know what to expect on the other side, but it could be fantastic on the other side.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let you guys on an update, because I had a psychic reading a few weeks ago. Kempire did that live with Femtero, and I did a super chat question. The psychic, guys, we'll have to see. She told me that in love, I would meet this person between October, and by March of 2026, we would be official. Femtero told me I would meet this person come October as well. Two different people.
Ooh.
They kind of gave me an idea of what he would like. The psychic gave me like an idea of like what he would look like, occupation, everything. But she said this can only happen if you heal your inner child wound of rejection. So Keisha, you just saying this is like, damn, and I gotta put in the work. Got a journal.
And I was gonna say, because psychics are fun, and Kemp and I talk about them and explore them as well. But remember, there's free will here, so you have not allowed this person in your life last October through March,
right?
You know what I mean, because of your expectations. So they can tell you this person, people or play is coming, but if there's a little doubt, hesitation, or fear, he ain't showing up.
I agree.
Choice. Always.
No, I agree. Like 100%.
Yeah.
I think I have to do the homework, and I just have to go for it. I like that rejection thing is just so.
Sierra?
Change your language. Change your language. The whole mile language, the way you say homework, it's not excited. So change whatever word gets you excited about it. It's not homework. It's an exercise, or it's my today's to-do list. Language is very important. We don't realize how much we're saying, negative talk that we're saying to ourselves. I don't know about you. I talk to myself all the time.
Same.
Out loud.
But be mindful. You mean to be mindful, which I'm going to have to check when I have a boo. I'm like, who are you talking to? Myself. But be mindful of the things that you're saying to yourself, because your word is very powerful.
Yeah.
I agree. Oh, guys, it's just so hard being a Scorpio rising sun, Aries moon.
Literally what I just said and what you just said.
I don't get
the other side of that.
The other side,
yes. Spontaneous and deep and,
and fun and passionate.
That's the other side of Scorpio. They're wild. I mean, geez, everybody needs a Scorpio at least once in their life, just saying. So... The other side of Scorpio, moon, rising, whatever it is, it's sensual, it's deep, and it's it's passionate.
Of the water signs, I like the Scorpios the best of the water signs.
Well, Kempire, we're sister signs. We see each other. Yeah. Right. Well, thanks, guys, so much, and thanks for your time. Have a good night.
Fun.
Yes, have fun.
And be mindful of what you're saying to yourself. Be mindful of your words.
I will.
All right, Sierra. We expect an update.
Yes, an update. All right, bye, guys.
Have a good night. Bye.
I love me a psychic too, and I have a guru and what have you. But one of the things I will say is that I don't like to talk to them very often, because I feel like I manifest them. They plant something in my head, and it's like, okay, we do have free will and things can happen, but if I keep thinking about this or obsessing about it, I feel like I'll create it. So that's why I don't really get involved in.
Jasaleen says, any thoughts about speed dating events?
Love them.
They want me to do them. We're in conversations to possibly do one.
I think think they're fun. I think there's no judgment. It's however you get it. Guys, it should be fun. Everything should be fun. Like like you said, I do give a lot of homework. I don't find homework to be hard, but I have a nerdier personality. So, but I think it should be fun if we just made light about dating. And, the reason why I think speed dating it's fun is because you're not going out with expectations. And that's one of the things we just said to Sierra. What are we expecting? Because if we're getting disappointed, it's not the other people. It's us having expectations of these people who are probably not capable of them. They don't have the intellectual capital. They don't have the emotional capital. There's a lot of things, but 90% of us are like, what's wrong with me? No, they might just be a hot mess.
Yeah. Elle Singleton says, and you won't get this reference because you don't watch any of these shows. Elle Singleton says, wow, that's deep. Heal that inner child. Isn't that what Dr. Mimi told Dr. Heavenly at the reunion of Married to Medicine? She did. She did. Okay. Last but definitely not least, we're going to bring MM up. MM, what did you want to share? Ask. What's your story?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. You have the headphones on?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Kempire, I am offended. What about us Pisces? Come on now. Oh no.
What about y'all? No playing.
Anyway, I just wanted to share.
Jasaleen's also Pisces. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to share a quick story because I feel like a lot of people were sharing about how they were talking to different men who just weren't interested initially. And I had posted earlier that my dad, when he first met my mom, said he was looking for a wife, and they got married within the year. And I feel like every time I've had any kind of serious relationship or situation, they've told me like first date. It hasn't been like date 2, date 3. They're like first date, I'm interested. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because I feel like, especially as you age, men will tell you right away. And if they ask you, what do you want? And you tell them, I'm interested in marriage, it won't scare them away. It will scare away the ones who just want to sleep with you. So that's just my feedback. This has been really fun. I've never listened to a full live before. So this has been really entertaining, honestly. I love it.
Thank you, MM, for sharing that.
Yes. Okay. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you. What do you think, Kemp, about that?
About what?
About her dad told her, her mom and, these men that are saying that they want to get married. What do you think? You go first. I'll give my piece on that.
I mean, as I said earlier, I feel as if people that are interested, you're going to know from their actions, not what they tell you.
Right.
So yes, we could say, "Oh, I want marriage. I want this," but half the people we see this with people that in the live chat or calling in. They say what they want, but do they really want that? Do they truly understand what they want?
Right.
A lot of people don't. But I get where MM is coming from.
Right.
People, what I took from what she said is that people that are really interested in you are going to say it, show it.
Right.
More importantly, show it, because people can say a lot.
I definitely agree. And it could also be a generation thing, though. I don't think that doesn't happen. And I agree with you both. I definitely, for your listeners listening out there, I mean, we're a younger crowd in comparison. I feel young. Let me just say, you called yourself an old man, but if I went out on a date, just me, and I'm a woman, and I think so, right? And the man told me he wanted to get married on the first date, I'd probably after the check and leave.
But do you have commitment issues?
No. I just feel like there's a time and a place for everything. Do you know what I mean? Like we are different, like people are different, like for our standards as a woman who is independent, educated, can take care of herself and what have you. Not every woman that goes out on a date is looking for a husband or wants that. It's probably more commitment and respect more than anything. Do you know what I mean? So I think in this day and age, and we're on date number 2, and you're like, oh, I can get married. I'd probably pull a Zoe and be like, what does he want me to take care of him? Like, Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like because we are a different generation, I think if you go back to my mom's generation and my dad said that to her, it's very different. But I would probably respond like Zoe, be like, wait a minute, what do you know my career? That's why you want to marry me. I think I'd go down Zoe's road way quicker than be like, oh, he wants a commitment. Well, because I would not want somebody to say that. And I don't know how many strong independent women, I think they want a relationship, they want a partnership, you know. So that's I think that's really interesting. I really think I'd run.
Unless you're on the same page. I don't think I would run, but I would have to answer that with, I'm not there yet. If I'm not there yet. So if you're not there yet, I think the better communication would be, I'm not there yet. But sometimes people, depending on how you met, maybe you met through an app, maybe you met through someone else, and you already knew that this person has said on the app, I'm ready for marriage and children, or things like that.
Right.
However, I think the best way in a situation like that, instead of running, would be to say to that person, well, I'm not there yet.
It's only a first date.
I think if someone said that to me, because I'm not to say that I'm not there yet, I could get there, but I need to get to know you first. But I'm also not in a rush. And again, this is where we could talk about astrology. I'm a Taurus. I take my time with things. I do need some pushing. I think that's ideally for a partner for me, is someone that will be like, no, but I'm ready, and I think you are ready too. Or I need a little pushing.
Right. But that's not first date conversation either.
No. But if they brought it up on the first date, it wouldn't immediately be like, unless they was like, I want to marry you.
Well, you know, I think that's a positive and the negatives of a dating app too. It's kind of a list. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I like this, you like this. Oh yeah, we match, we're compatible. No, we're not. Do you know what I mean? Because you want to get married on the first date. Run.
And I think, again, people do not know themselves as well as they think they know themselves.
Right.
And they put a lot on their profiles. And a lot of y'all need to work on your profile pictures too. All these sunglasses, masks, and side profiles, far pictures, 10,000 people in your profile. No, do better. It's 2025. It's 2025. Come on. Your phone alone has a great camera. And some of you that posted pictures from 2005. I mean, in all fairness, I still look the same than I did back then, if not better.
Right. But
a lot of y'all can't do that. Some of y'all have not been moisturizing since 2000.
They don't use their butter. Okay.
More information available in the description. That's no shade, but real talk. That's the type of friend that I am. If you can't deal with that, I wish you luck.
I mean, I think you're absolutely right, and I think with the profile too, or it's like you're telling people what they want to hear, because some of these men that are going out with these women are like, yeah, I want to get married, because they want to date. So be careful that you're just not telling you what you want to hear. You know what I mean? So be authentic, guys. Have fun. Be authentic. Be real. Say what you want, not what you think, you should be saying. It's okay, guys. Be authentic. Be real.
Before we go, if you guys have questions in the live chat, feel free to share them. I saw we had a couple. Elle Singleton, full of questions tonight. She's a Taurus. Elle Singleton says, life coach, do you think marriage is becoming extinct?
I don't know if it's becoming extinct. I think it kind of piggyback on what we're talking about. It may not be as important to some as it, like, again, I think like women, like somebody like me, strong, independent, educated, and all of those things. I wanted to marry a partner and equal and what have you. I don't need your money. I don't need you to buy me a house. I don't need you to do da 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 da. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think that because more and more, I'll just speak for women right now, more and more are so independent and can take care of themselves, they are like, well, I don't need to marry you. I could pay my own rent, my own car note, my own. So what are you bringing to the table? That goes back to what you were saying. What is he bringing to the table? What is she bringing to the table? So I think people are evaluating their reasons for marriage 100%. I personally would never get married. I am married, but it was never a huge priority is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And it might be extinct for gay people soon, with this administration. Jasaleen, this is not a question, but I think we can answer it in a way. Yeah. I wish I could figure out why I don't get approached.
Well, do you want to be approached? Are you smiling? Is your head down on your phone? Are you wearing your headphones when you're out at Starbucks? Are you
I am.
approachable? Are you, you know what I mean? Because yeah, I'm not trying to be. Are you approachable?
I gotta say something to Jasaleen, and I think therapy is fantastic, but I also think you get what you pay for.
Right.
And she said that therapy is free, which is fantastic if you
Right.
need it. Yeah. But
Right.
a question like, not even a question, a statement like that says to me, maybe you should invest in not necessarily therapy. You're in therapy, maybe a life coach. And then
Right.
that's not a shameless plug, but
Right.
that's something you have to unpack for someone that's on the outside to kind of examine some of your behaviors and then help you with a plan.
Well, that's good, Kemper, because let's just explain really quickly the difference between like therapy and life coaching. Because I mean, there's value in both. Because I've said before, I work with a therapist, right? And she will refer people to me because therapy is like unpacking the luggage from when I was a child and these traumatic issues and what have you. Nothing wrong with that. Life coaching is like, well, why didn't you go out today? Why didn't you do that today? It's very direct. It's in your face. And like, what stopped you from doing it today? We understand the mom issues, the daddy issues, the ex-husband issues. That's what therapy is for. A life coach is to be like accountable. What happened today? What happened this week? Why didn't you eat right? Why didn't you go to bed? Like, what happened? You know what I mean? It's very day to day, on the hour kind of thing. It's what you're experiencing right now and the value in that.
Yeah. Janelle says, I don't think marriage is becoming extinct. I think monogamy is becoming extinct as people want to explore what romantic partnership actually means and what it entails. Marriage may be a casualty of that. Oh, what do you think about that?
I mean, I think, again, that for me, that's a little, everybody gets to define their relationship the way that they want to. Do you know what I mean? So if they feel like their marriage is defined with these parameters, that's okay. If they think that, having more than one partner, that's okay. It's what works best for you. You define what a relationship, you define what dating is like, you define what your career is like, you define what your financial health is like. It's all up to you. We can't be distracted with what's going on outside and be like, well, I think it's extinct and I think monogamy is extinct. No, it's not. Not if that's not what you want. It might be for your neighbor, but it may not be that for you. So you define it. You make sure that it fits your parameters.
Val, if you have a question, leave it in the chat. Or if you, and I don't think you're a member, I would say to call in. But if you have a question, leave it in the chat. We're taking a couple of questions in the chat. Keith says, everyone wants a polygamous relationship nowadays. And he's more specifically talking about the gay community. I don't know about the heterosexual community, but definitely in the gay community, we see a lot of folks that have open relationships. And that's not for everyone. It's not for me. I know it's not for Keith's Virgo self either.
Right.
But not judging.
That goes back to your personal boundaries, personal boundaries. If that's what you're seeing, you don't have to, you don't have to drink the Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? You set your boundaries.
PSM says, shoot, I was unapproachable when I lived in New York. Headphones on, head down, reading, not smiling. I'm married now. I guess my point is your person will find you. Yeah, but if you want to be approachable.
Right.
And also, it's not so safe in New York to do that anymore. So head up.
Right.
Maybe not make eye contact with everyone unless it's someone you're interested in. Just make sure he's not making funny noises or anything like that to just make sure he's okay. Elson says, open relationships will not work for us Taurians. I mean, no.
No, I don't think it works for a lot of people. And I think a lot of people will accept certain things that they're not pleased with. But again, set your boundaries and be okay with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, Life Coach Keisha, again, guys, more information on how you can book a session with her. It doesn't have to be just about your relationship. Maybe it's about your career. Maybe it's about your family stuff. Maybe it's about something completely different. Life coaching is not just about love and relationships, but maybe it is about that. Be sure to check out the description, more details on how you can book a session. A free 30-minute consultation plus 15% off with the discount code Kempire will be available in the description. Keisha, thank you so much for taking time out to be here and answering.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me back. It's been wonderful. I love your community. I love the space. I love the authentic calls, and they're just real. Your people are real. So that's wonderful.
Definitely. Everyone have a fantastic night. Again, thank you to our King's Guards, our moderators, our channel members, and of course, our subscribers. We appreciate you guys. And shout out to our replay crew as well. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget, you can hear an audio version of our live shows like this on the Kempire podcast. Subscribe today and join our Club Kempire so you can hear the latest The White Lotus recap that we did. Everyone have a fantastic Friday. I'm going to go find me a date. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Here we go now.